Nobody saw it coming. That was the problem. The UFC is built on anticipation. Jabs, kicks, takedowns, elbows, knees. Everyone trains the usual threats. Then Conor McGregor steps into the clinch and doesn't punch. He crashes his shoulder into your face. At UFC 246, Donald Cowboy Cerrone walks forward like he's done 100 times before. Establish the clinch. Control the posture. Look for knees. Look for elbows. Instead, his nose explodes. That single shift rewrites the entire exchange. The fight is over in 40 seconds, not because of volume, not because of pressure, but because of one unfamiliar weapon used at the exact wrong moment to defend against it. This was McGregor turning a blind spot into a kill switch, and once you see how it actually works, you can't unsee it. McGregor isn't just a striker, he's a geometry problem with fists. Southpaw, 5'8", 74-inch reach. That reach alone already distorts distance. Opponents think they're safe when they're not. They think they're close when they're still exposed. Every exchange with him feels off by half a beat. Now, add the clinch. In a southpaw versus orthodox matchup, the lead shoulder naturally sits closest to the opponent's face. That means McGregor's left shoulder is already parked in the danger lane before the opponent even realizes the lane exists. That's not luck, that's structure. Then comes the weight class factor. McGregor jumps divisions: featherweight, lightweight, welterweight. Each jump changes the physics. Strength gaps get real. Clinch pressure gets heavier. Mistakes get punished harder. So, what does he do? He builds a weapon that doesn't care about size. The shoulder strike uses full body mass at zero range. It doesn't need rotational space. It doesn't need torque room. It doesn't need a long arc. It only needs timing and gravity. Force equals mass times acceleration. So he increases both. His own coach confirms it. This wasn't borrowed. This wasn't copied. This was engineered. Fast twitch development, coordination, precision sequencing. The entire kinetic chain rebuilt for one job. Then there's the career reality. McGregor disappears, returns, disappears again, titles get stripped, momentum resets. Cardio becomes a risk. Long grappling exchanges become dangerous. So, the strategy shifts. End it early, end it fast, end it violently. The shoulder strike fits the plan perfectly. It creates damage instantly. It doesn't require rhythm. It doesn't need volume. It only needs one clean window. And when he finds it, there's no warning. The fight with Cerrone doesn't start fast. It starts wrong. They close, they touch, they drift into clinch range. Nothing looks dangerous yet. No big shots, no swing for the fence's energy. Then McGregor gives ground. That detail matters. He subtly moves backward inside the clinch. Just enough to convince Cerrone that he's winning the position. Cerrone presses, shoulders forward, head upright, arms loose. That's the trap. McGregor drops his level. Knees bend, hips sink, center of gravity falls. That's the load. Cerrone keeps driving. Momentum builds, then everything reverses in one vertical line. McGregor explodes upward. Not around, not across, up. His shoulder surges forward with his entire body behind it. Cerrone's forward pressure crashes directly into that rising force. Two moving bodies, two energy vectors. One collision point. The nose breaks instantly. The disorientation shows on impact. The posture collapses. The guard disappears. Seconds later, the head kick lands. Then the ground shots finish it. The shoulder didn't end the fight. It cracked the door. And once that door opened, everything else rushed through. This wasn't chaos. It was cause and effect. This is not a trick, it's mechanics. And if your mechanics are wrong, this strike does nothing. Let's strip it down. You don't throw this at air, you throw it from control. You enter the clinch with posture. Southpaw stance if possible. Lead shoulder closest to the target. One arm loops or frames the neck or collarbone. You don't need dominance, you need permission. The opponent's job is to mess this up. Your job is to keep one side of your upper body free. If they control your striking shoulder, the move dies right here. This is where most people screw up. You don't rush forward, you give ground. You let the opponent grind into you. You invite pressure, you encourage forward momentum. At the same time, you drop your level. Knees bend, hips sink, ankles flex. This creates stored energy in the largest muscles you have, the legs, the glutes, the core. This is potential energy being wound like a spring. No rush, no panic, just load it. Now it goes vertical. You don't twist, you don't swing. You drive straight up through the floor. Legs extend violently, hips rise, core locks. The body acts as a single rigid engine. The shoulder launches forward as a consequence, not a decision. This is where the whip happens. The legs generate most of the force. The torso transfers it. The shoulder delivers it. Your arm contributes the least, which is exactly why this works in tight space. Minimal extension, maximum acceleration. This is mass meeting speed. That's the strike. The hit itself isn't the finish. The confusion is. The opponent stumbles, vision blurs, guard breaks, balance shifts. That's the window. You step off, you pivot. You create space instantly, kick, knee, punch. Whatever your best closer is, it fires now. If you stand there admiring the strike, you waste the advantage. Shock is temporary, finish is permanent. Traditional power strikes need space. You need rotation, you need extension. The clinch kills all of that. Not this. The strike uses vertical acceleration instead of rotation. It recruits the biggest muscles in the body instead of the smallest. It turns the floor into the engine. In a normal punch, arms contribute roughly a quarter of the force. The rest comes from the legs and torso. McGregor removes the rotation requirement and goes straight to the source. That's why it breaks structure instead of pushing it. That's why it damages instead of shoving. Most fighters are wired to defend elbows and knees in the clinch. That's the traditional danger map. The shoulder isn't on that map. It lives in the gap between training habits and rule allowances. The unified rules allow it, but the muscle memory to stop it is missing. So, when it lands, the body doesn't flinch correctly, and that delay is fatal. Before this, shoulder strikes existed. GSP used them, Usman used them, Sonnen used them. But they used them as pressure, as attrition, as grind tools. McGregor weaponized it as a first strike. That's the difference. Not damage over time, damage instantly. That single shift turns a background strike into a fight starter. And once it becomes a starter, defenses must change. Head position matters now. Collarbone control matters now. Shoulder lanes matter now. The clinch has a new threat layer. Periods of inactivity demand efficiency. Long fights create risk. Quick finishes protect momentum. So, he builds weapons that don't need rounds. They only need moments. The shoulder strike is one of those weapons. It doesn't care about cardio. It doesn't care about judges. It only cares about timing. And timing is his real advantage. This move works because it breaks expectation before it breaks bone. The opponent prepares for knees. The opponent prepares for elbows. The opponent prepares for hand control. Then gravity hits their face sideways. No warning, no defense, no reset, just damage.